Good morning, everybody. Welcome to week 6 of com151. This is Mark here, your instructor, and I hope that the first half of our term has gone well for you. I know that it took a couple of weeks for everybody to get their laptop situated, maybe load up Microsoft Office, figure out MindTap and all that kind of thing. But over the last couple of weeks, it looks like you're doing very, very well. The discussions are looking good, and it looks like you're getting some pretty good grades on the assignments and stuff. So congratulations, you've reached the halfway point. We're almost at our Thanksgiving break once we get past this week, I believe it is. And you get to take a little bit of a break and breathe in and get ready to finish the whole second half of the course. A couple of housekeeping things really quick. We did record another Zoom conference call on Friday afternoon, and that is obviously a graded exercise that hopefully most of you attended. If not, you can go out and watch the recording. Send me an email that you've watched the recording and I'll give you a grade. It goes into your assignments, and it's usually a very easy 100 on your assignments that helps you grade, so make sure you go look at that. I also took time during that time to go over some of the Excel things that you're going to be doing this week, formulas and that kind of thing, and hopefully it will help you to see a few pointers before you actually start on working on some of those Excel items. The second thing that there's been some questions about the grades, and that's okay. You do the grade, you do your work in MindTap, and then might not be seeing the grade over in Canvas. Don't panic. As long as the grade is in MindTap, you're okay. So look at the grade book in MindTap and make sure it graded you. Then when you look at Canvas, if there's nothing there, the reason is that everything is based on the due date of the work that you're doing. So if you do the work on a Thursday, for an example, and let's say you get 100 on it, if the due date is on Saturday night at midnight, MindTap will not move the grade over to Canvas until Saturday night at midnight. So don't panic right away if you don't see that grade moved. I check those ever so often, and then I can do a manual sync if I have to and make it work. So, feel free to email me and say, hey, check this if you're worried. That's what I'm here for. But that's why sometimes that you do work in, you'll do work in MindTap and not necessarily see the grade that quick. So don't panic right away when you see that. So those two things are very important, the Zoom conference call and the grading in MindTap. As we take a break for Thanksgiving, you don't have to do any work. Nothing is required as far as due dates or anything. The week of Thanksgiving, you have that off to rest and recuperate. You might, if you're running behind, you may want to use some of that time to get yourself caught up. That's up to you. I will still watch the website ever so often to see if you're putting anything there that I need to help you with or answer. But I will probably take most of that week off as well. But I will check in. You can still email me or text me if you need something, and I'll be happy to help. The third thing that I'd like to tell you about is in terms of due dates. Once we pass Thanksgiving, all the due dates become 1 week instead of what we've been doing at a 2-week assignment. So the first 5 weeks of the class, you've had 2 weeks to get everything done other than the discussion, and it wasn't late. Starting in week 6, you only have the 1 week to get things done. There are fewer assignments, I think, from 6 to 10. And we're just running out of time. There's no way that you can get it all done if we give you 2 weeks all the way up through week 10. So keep that in mind, that things will start being due in 1 week rather than in 2 weeks. Okay, so that's kind of the housekeeping things that I wanted to talk about for you this morning and make sure you're understood. Now, as far as the class, this week we're talking again about Microsoft Excel. We're going to go into formulas and functions and some of those kind of things. Excuse me. And those can be confusing at first, but once you start practicing with them, I think you'll see that they're not too bad. And that's really all it is about Excel, Word, any of these things. It just takes some practice and then next thing you know, you're picking up on it really, really well. The beauty of formulas in Excel is that they do the math work for you. It's like I'd say a glorified calculator. We can do adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing. We can do statistics. We can do financial numbers. Anything that you can do with a calculator or have to do mathematically, we can do in Microsoft Excel. And you're like, well, okay, fine, a calculator does that. Why do I want to do it in Excel? Well, Excel, as soon as you build the program or build the formula and you save it, all you have to do then is change the numbers that you're dealing with, and the math will always work. So if you get the math formula fixed right the first time, you save it, and then all you have to do is change numbers as different situations come up. That's why your cell addresses are important. So your C1, A1, B3, A4, you know, those are your cell addresses. And when you write a formula, you don't put the actual numbers in, you put the cell addresses in. So I might say equal sign, which is the start of the formula. It tells Excel that you want to do math. A1 plus B1, and I hit enter. Whatever number is in A1 and B1 would be added together, or multiplied, divided, or whatever we said it would do. Now, let's say that the numbers I put in A1 and B1 need to change. Well, I just simply change them, and I don't have to worry about changing the formula. It will just simply give me the new answer. So what we do, just like you've seen with some templates in Word or what have you, we do a little bit of work on the front end, setting things up, and then going forward, all we really have to do is just change numbers, and it gives us the answers for us. So some of the formulas obviously are a little more complicated than that, but that's just a basic idea of what we're talking about. So with that said, cell addresses are important. The formulas will be very, very nice. And we can do all kind of things. We can do current numbers, like, okay, you know, how much money did I make today? Or I could take the numbers out and say, well, what if I got a raise? How much money would I make? And things like that. So a lot of what if analysis, or being able to look into the future with Excel, because of the way it does its math for you. I hate math. I love Excel because it's so easy once you get the formulas figured out to do some, what I would say, complex math that I wouldn't want to have to do. And it takes a little practice, so obviously you won't be a pro at it right off the bat. The other things that Excel's good for is setting up databases. We will learn about databases later, but databases are collections of information that are put in rows and columns, just like the numbers in Excel. And each one of those would be called a record. We'll learn about that later. And you can use Excel to keep lists. You can do like employee lists, seniority lists. You can have collections, like I have toy trains, so I have a list in Excel of all my toy trains. You may do a home inventory for your insurance purposes, so that if something happened to your home, you have insurance. You know, you show the insurance company the list of things in the house so you can get reimbursed. My son collects guns, so he has a list of Excel guns, you know, that he has. My wife collects all kind of things that she keeps lists of. I now have a friend who keeps lists of every book he's ever read, and you kind of get the idea. So it's great for keeping lists, collections, and you can ask questions of it, like show me everything that I bought after 2005, you know, things like that. And so we'll learn about that in the coming weeks. So this week, though, is mainly just formulas. And again, watch the Zoom conference as I'll try to demonstrate some very, very basic things there. Hope you have a good week. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in class.